since this is a coconut flan, what I like to do, I mean, not everybody does this. I don't know who, I mean, this is how I decided, like, I learn as I go. Or I, like, mess with it, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of, okay, that's probably a teaspoon of, again, some coconut extract. And I'm going to add a little bit more, also another teaspoon of vanilla into a separate. Now, you don't have to do this because you've already added stuff. But if you really want that kick to that coconut flavor for the coconut flan, you should do this because it helps out on giving that really good coconut taste. So you just add on the separate, this is my magic bullet. I'm adding some coconut milk in there. My coconut milk is a little thick because I had already opened like 2 days ago, but it's still good. And then I'm going to add some coconut flan inside. Now you don't have to do this. If you don't want the coconut flavor, you don't have to do this part to make it the coconut flan. But you know, I love coconut and I know a lot of people do. So I just add more to the flan. And you don't want to add too much because then the more stuff you put, the more eggs you have to add. And then you're going to have an eggy tasty flan, which you don't want that. Eggy tasty flans are not that good. Well, unless you, I don't know who would like flan. It wouldn't taste good. So I went ahead and I added some, I'm going to add a little bit more milk because as you see, it's a little bit more coconut, so you want to add there. You can also add a little bit of the mix that you did inside of it. So I grabbed some mix, like, you know, like this. So you just have enough to blend it. I'm going to blend that now. Okay. I'm going to put you down for a second. This can be very messy. You have to use so much stuff. It can get messy. But a good cook always has a messy kitchen, right? The problem is to clean it up afterward. Well, that's when you tell your boyfriend, whoever you have around you, to do it. Since you cook. It's only fair. Okay. So now I have it on the Magic Bullet, or you can use whatever blender. This is the only real blender I have, the Magic Bullet. So, you go ahead and blend it. You can do this while you do that. Okay, we blend it for about 30 seconds. And it's gonna look like this. That's how it's gonna look. A little bit clumpy, because of course, you see? And then I do this. So that way it gets everything from inside. And you just do it till, Okay, you pretty much have everything out of there. Okay. Okay. And then you want to go ahead and blend it again. You want to blend it for about a minute. Hold on. Just go ahead and blend it. Okay, that's enough. Blend it for about a minute. So now that everything is blended, you don't want to see no egg yolk. You want to make sure that everything is blended together. You know, you can even barely see the coconut flakes or anything because it's well blended. So we got that going. Now you see, back to the sugar. See how it's really thick now? It barely even moves, very slowly. That's exactly how you want it. Okay, I did turn off the stove earlier, so this is perfect. This is how you want your pot to look. You want it to be on the edges, so that way the sugar and the syrup, once it's cooked, it just doesn't stay on the bottom. It comes out on the edges of the actual flan. So it's all evened out. It's perfect. The texture is perfect. The color is perfect. You have the coconuts on the side, the coconut flakes on the side. You have the coconuts cooked well also. They're not burnt. Everything is perfect. So remember, this takes about maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Just keep an eye on it. If you smell it, it's like if it smells burnt, go ahead and remove it from the stove or just turn it off. Now we still have this water still boiling. It's a very large pot. That's why it's taking long to actually start boiling. You don't want to fill the water up too high because then it's gonna jump out of the pot, and you really don't want. I mean, it's okay, but the water can fall into the flan, and you don't want watery flan. So you can take as much water out until you see that. I think I put a little too much water. That's fine though. It's okay. So we'll take it out. So this is exactly what you're gonna do. This is very homemade. This is not the right way to do it, but like I said, since I'm doing a large coconut flan, this is the size of it. It's gonna be pretty big. So since I'm doing a large amount, I'm doing it on these types of pots. It's gonna take me a while to cook. It's probably gonna take me 2 to 3 hours to actually cook, and it normally does not take like that if you use the correct pots and stuff. But since I'm using this, it's fine though. You want to have it sit in. You see how it's sitting in there? It's going to sit enough that the flan is going to cook well. I can still add a little bit more water if you see. So it's probably up to here inside. So I'm going to add a little bit more water. This kitchen is such a mess, but that's okay. I'll clean it. So you're gonna add it. I think I'm gonna add it. I'm gonna add water to probably till right here. well, right between the two little knobs, so that way once it's boiling it's not going everywhere. Actually, I'll leave it just in the first knob. That's fine. You can always add or take out water. Okay, so you see it's sitting there. You see the sugar. It's a little bit hot, but could have turned it off. But it's very like, the sugar's already hard. So you want to go ahead and pour the mixture inside slowly. You see how it's not damaging the sugar in the bottom or not popping out or anything? That's how you want it, because you can mess up the texture. Shit. Sorry. You can mess up this texture. Okay, I'm going to have to put the camera down because I can't. So pour it in slowly. Okay. Now I poured the whole mix inside. That's how it's going to look. See? So I'm gonna put it to boil. See how high the water is? That's how you want to just keep an eye on it. Some mix fell in the water while I was holding the camera. That's fine. But that's fine. There's enough. So that's how it's gonna sit in. And then you want to close this. So it's closed already and it's going to cook like that. And that's how you start off the whole flan thing. I'll show you guys more later. I'll do a second video. The fire is on high. Yeah, the stove is on high. Keep saying fire. For God's sake, how many times I said fire? And the fire is on high. The top is closed. And we've got the water going. So, alright guys, see you in the second part of the video. Bye. Let it sit for if you guys are using the same pots and doing the same thing I'm using, you're gonna let it sit for about 2 hours. But if you're using the regular stuff, you go to the supermarket or the store and you buy regular pots for the flan, just let it sit for 45 to an hour. 45 minutes to an hour, and that's fine. And I'll show you guys later on in 2 hours or 3 on the next part of the video of how it looks when the flan is ready to be taken out. Alright, bye guys. See you later.